So for selecting elements, we have seen 3 methods till now, and along with that, we are also having 2 more methods, which are by using query selectors and query selectors actually. So you know what are selectors in CSS? The same selectors we are going to use here. Okay, for example, I want to create, I want to select all the elements which are having a tag name of button. How can I select? Simply element document dot
get element
query selector is the no. Now I am going to use a new function to select the elements. So firstly, I use this query selector, and what I told, it will return a single object. Which which one we are targeting. Okay, that object will be returned. So it is going to return what? A single object. Okay, and now
by
inside this,
to IDs.
Yes, inside this we are going to pass a single parameter. That parameter is actually the selector. Okay, do you know what are selectors? Like if
Yes,
you wanted
sir.
to select an element, if you wanted to select an element which is having an ID of test, how can we select in CSS? We were using something like this, right?
Test, yeah.
Yeah, similarly, if you want to select elements with a class name, then we use this class. Okay. Similarly, if you want to select the children of a element, which is div element, children of that, which is having a
child.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that child. The child, whatever it is, and that child, if it is having some ID, then we can have that child IDs. Okay. So something like this. Yeah. So these are we call as selectors. Okay. By using these selectors, we can select any element that is present in our HTML document. Okay. Simply, for example, if I want to select this button, how can I select? Simply for selecting buttons, we can use the button tag name, right? In HTML, in CSS. So I can pass this, and let me save this. And you see, let me try to log this, okay? Because we need to see it, right? Let us see what will it print. So it is printing what? It is printing a button. Now let me also try to create another button. Okay, another button which is click me and 1. It is the first button, and click me 2 is the second button. Now could you expect which button is printed now?
This is first one is printed.
Yes, because this is always going to return a single element, and if there are multiple elements like this, so it is going to pick the first element, okay, which is button 1. And you see, when I expand this, how can I know whether it is the first button or second button? Simply, I can print its inner text, right? So if I print the inner text, I can get to know, right, which button I'm printing. And now you see which button I'm printing. So element has been captured with the first button and not with the second button, because query selector function is always going to return a single object, which is which is matching with this selector. Okay, so in this, only these two actually will match with this selector, but still only for the first one, whichever comes in the document, that will be printed. Now what if we wanted to print all? So if you want to print all, you just need to use a function called query selector all, and it is going to return what? An array of elements. Okay, now you see 2 buttons are printed because it is going to select all the elements which are matching with this query, or which are matching with this selector. Okay, now using button selector, how many elements will be matched in this? These 2.
Sir.
Okay, and out of these 2, these 2 will be kept inside an array. Now if I wanted to see both of their inner text, so the first one inner text, if I want to see, I can see like this. And if I want to see the second one,
inner text.
Yes, something like this. Let me save this, and you see, click me 1 is the first one's inner text, and click me 2 is the second one's inner text. So by using query selector all, we can get all the elements which are satisfying with this query selector or selector simply. Okay, by using query selector, it is going to match only the topmost element which is matched with this particular selector. Okay, now let me make it little complex. Instead of using this, I'll make it like this. Now I'll create another para. Okay, another para with an para. Okay, para it is, and I want to have some text. This is para. Now, what is the selector of this particular paragraph with respect to div? So simply, hash test is going to target the hash test is going to target the
That
top
div, sir,
element.
div. That div.
Or I can write div also instead of hash test. So hash test is actually going to target this entire division element, and I want to get the children of this particular div element or the hash test element. So for
You
getting
can
children, I
use
have to
a
use a
space.
greater than.
You
No,
can
I can
use
use
also a space.
space for getting descendants, or I can also use the greater than for getting the direct children. Okay.
Direct.
So since I'm mentioning I want to get the children of it, so I have to use this instead of space, I can use this greater than. Now inside this, I want to get the children which is having a tag name of P, because this tag name does not have any ID or class. So how can I select that particular paragraph? Simply by using tag name. So this selector is going to target whom? This element.
Line number
Paragraph.
14.
What?
Line number
Someone is
14
asking
it will
about.
select.
Prasanna, you have any question?
No, sir. No, sir.
Yeah. So this one is going to select this particular HTML element, right? Now, similarly, by using this selector, if I want to select that paragraph inside JavaScript, simply you just need to save this, okay? And then you just need to pass this, okay? Now, what it is going to do? It is going to select an array of elements, because it is a function which is query selector all. So I'm going to use a query selector because I don't want to get as an array. I want to get only the one element. So let me log that element. What will it be? Okay,
Element.
something like this. And you see here I passed a selector, and this selector is actually going to target this particular element. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir.
And let me save this, and you see we got that para.
Yes.
Got it? And if I want to know what is the tag name of this particular element, how can I know? Simply that element
Not
dot
tag name.
tag name.
Tag name.
Yes.
Tag name.
Then simply going to return the tag name. And if I want to add some styling for it, how can I add the styling for this element? Simply element dot style dot something like this. Color is equal to red. So it will make the text color into red. Let me save, and you see it is turned into red color. Okay.
Yes.
Did you understand this? And if I make a query selector all, what will it return? This
Return of array.
Yeah. So with how many elements? With how many
Here
elements?
only one, but
that will be array. Only one element will be there inside that array. And if I want to access that one element, how can I? By using
you have to
index.
give the
So index of
Indexing.
0. Yes, exactly. So let me save that. And same thing has happened. You see the color is changed dynamically. Okay, or else let me try to log the element of 0. And you see we will get that para. You see the para we got. Did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir. Understand.
Okay. So this is what query selector and query selector all. Okay.
Very interesting.
Now, can you, if I do something like this, I'll make a section like this. Section with the class name of text. Okay, something like this. And inside that, if I have something like I'm bold. Okay, and this also I'm going to make as class, and this one I'm going to change the selector. Okay, so instead of this, I'll make something like this: class text and greater than not P, but right, child. Okay, with child class. Okay, and you have to tell me what will happen. So for both of these two.
Sir, HTML pages to CSS pages to పక్కన పెట్టండి.
HTML CSS పేజ్ లో ఏం లేదు, ఇవి రెండు కావాలా?
జావా
ఒక్క నిమిషం. స్ప్లిట్ రైట్ అని ఉంటుంది ఒకటి. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు చూడు, ఇది JavaScript file, ఇదేమో this is JavaScript file and this one is HTML file. And you see what I'm trying to do here is that I'm going to attach same class name for both of these two. Okay, class of child. Now, can you guess how many elements will be returned by this one?
2.
How many elements will be there in this?
2.
Why 2?
It will return an array of size 2.
Okay, what are those?
One is paragraph and another one is bold.
Okay, why so?
Because we are calling the elements which are having class name test and its under his
Children
head
as-
and
Yes,
paragraph
exactly.
and bold.
Both have
Yes.
one children.
Both
sir.
have
So they-
only one children.
Yes, exactly. So this test is the one which is had by both of this div as well as section, and for both of them we had a class name of test. Okay, and for their children, if there are any elements which are having class names, so in this also we have one thing, and in this also we have one thing. So basically, this particular selector is going to target this bold and this paragraph. So even if I write this selector and attach something inside CSS, you see, let me remove this. And for this selector, if I write something, this thing will be applied for both of the paragraph as well as bold. You see, I made the color to be red. Okay, and let me see this. I'll refresh this. Actually, I did not save this file. Yeah, now I saved, and you see both are turning into red because this particular selector was actually targeting both of these two. Okay, which selector? This selector. This selector was targeting both paragraph as well as
These are
bold
called
element.
combinators, sir. Combinators.
Yes, this we call as combinator. So this is the character which is a combinator, which basically checks the children of the previous element. So this element's children, which is having a class name of child, will be selected in this case. Okay, so this is how now in this case it is going to return two elements, and let me log both of them. So console.log element of 0 and element of, and can I know, how can I know whether it is going to return two elements or not? Since it is an array, you can use the length property. Okay, and let us see what is the length of it. 2. That means it is returning two elements. So what is the first element? Element of 0, and the second element is element of 1. Okay, let me save that, and you see the first element is para and the second element is bold. Now if I wanted to change the second element's color into something else, how can I? Simply second
Element
element,
of
which is
one.
element
Element
of 1
one.
dot style
Style
dot
dot.
Style dot color.
color is equal to something like blue, and it is going to make what? It is going to make the color of the second element to be into blue. Got this? You
Yes, sir.
understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. So
Sir,
this is
hello?
what query selector. Yeah.
Sir, there is a query selector all the results. Remove that all. And if
If I
you select
remove,
only query.
that's what I'm telling you. So if I remove this one, I'm making only a function called query selector, which is the first one. And how many elements will be written now?
Only one.
Which element? Which element will
color.
be written?
Red color.
Paragraph.
Paragraph
Yes,
first
this
one, sir.
paragraph will be written because that will be read by the browser first. Okay, so that will be written. So let me log that element. Of course, it is going to return a single element. It is not going to return an array. And you see, we are getting the paragraph and not the bold element. Even the bold is also satisfying this matching, but still this function is always going to return a single element. So that element will be whoever is in the top, that will be returned. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Sir,
when
if we remove the paragraph class child,
Yeah,
then
if you
also
remove
it
the
will work, sir.
No. How will it work? You see, I'll try to remove the class name of paragraph, and you have to tell me whether it will work or not. You see, for this paragraph, I'm making it to child. Now, is this selector going to match this particular para?
no,
No.
No. Then how can it will be selected? Now, who will be selected? Can you guess?
sir, bold.
Bold.
Also,
Yes,
because
this one will
we
be
give
selected
particular
because it is
child.
satisfied. Yes, exactly. So let me save this and let us see in the browser. Now we are getting the bold. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
When you were teaching us HTML and CSS, you told us that execution takes from top to bottom, and which where will in the bottom will be executed, right, sir?
Yeah. Which was in the bottom, that will be, I never told that. See, whoever first is there, that will be applied. Okay. Like the, see,
Such
that
like
was in
color.
another context. Yeah, that was in another context. Like here, if you upload color in the style tags, and here in the inline also, if you upload the style tags, so whatever the bottom one will be there, that will be applied. But here,
Yes,
what this function try to do is that it will try to search from top to bottom until it finds an element. And once it finds such an element, then it will stop searching for bottommost. Okay,
that will be
so
free.
it is going to, yes, exactly. So once it will find an element with this particular matching, what will it do? it is going to just stop searching for any more elements, because this function requirement is it is need to return a single element which matches with this selector. So when it gets that element which is satisfying this selector, then it won't search for any more. Okay.
Okay, understood.
Okay. Yeah. So that's all about all the things in DOM. And now there is another thing called form handling, and there is nothing in form handling. I'll tell you. Okay. Yeah.
Sir, please try to differentiate between inner text and inner HTML. 1 second, sir.
Yeah, I told you right yesterday. See, inner HTML is the one which is going to target the entire HTML that is present inside particular element. Okay, let me make that. I'll make a div with an ID of text. Okay, and some text inside, some text. Okay, and I'll also have a para. Okay, paragraph inside ID text. Okay, and I'll also write some bold inside this para. Bold inside home, inside para. So now you see this is going to give something like this, some text like this, right? Okay, now I'll target this element. Okay, I'll remove this entire thing. I'll paste it in the chat box. Okay, now in this I'll going to target that element. How can I? Simply document dot get element by ID by what is the ID of this div? Root div. I have given test. So is there any other way to select that? So I can also select like this. Let element is equal to document dot. Just now we learned which is query selector.
Element by
Query selector, and inside this I need to pass the selector. So what is the selector of that? Okay, like this also we can access. Okay, let it be. Now inside this particular element, I would like to print both the values. Like first one, I want to print element dot inner text. So inner HTML first I'll print, and then I'll print the inner text. Something like this. And let me save. And you see, this is what? This is the inner HTML. You see, paragraph tags and everything are included in this. Okay, paragraph tags and everything are included. And if you want to see the type of it, whether it is a string or something like this, you can log the type as well. So let me save that. And what is the type of this? String it is. Okay, that is a normal text inside double quotes kind of thing. Okay, the second one is also of course going to be what? It is also going to be string. You see, both are strings. And let me undo this. Okay, now let me try to log both of them. And if you try to see, this one is actually present inside whom? Inside the entire test. You see, this one is exactly equal to this one. Yes or no? See, whatever is there inside this, that is there here. This is what inner HTML we call. This is because HTML includes tags and text, everything, right? So that's why everything got included here.
Sir, inner text
HTML,
you
you see?
used to manipulate the text, sir. We did that.
Yes, exactly.
That. But
yes.
What is the use of inner HTML, sir?
See, by using inner HTML, if you want to erase this entire thing, and if you want to keep a single bold, how can you keep? Simply, you can keep like this. 1 second. Okay. If you want to have a single bold instead of all these things, if you want to have a single HTML element which is bold, so firstly we need to create that bold like this. Bold, let bold is equal to document dot. We want to create that first. Document dot what? Create element, and I want to create an element with the tag name of bold. Okay, and for bold I want to have some text inside it. So in that text I am bold. Okay, now I would like to have this bold element inside element. So how can I add element dot inner HTML? Now we need to use inner HTML is equal to this bold. Okay, what will happen? Instead of this one, it is going to erase this entire thing. I mean, it is going to have a single bold which will have some text like this. Let me save this, and you see what happened? Bold. We are actually getting the object. No. So instead of like this, we can do like this. Okay, I'll directly need to write inside double quotes like by bold I am bold. Okay, let me save that, and you see it turned into element. Now
Yes.
let me comment this line, and by using what will happen, you see element dot, no, I don't need to comment this, element dot inner text. If I use, so it is going to paste exactly how we are writing. I am bold, something like this. Okay, now let me save this, and you
Whole
see
element,
whatever the
yeah.
value is there, that element value is being pasted over there. Okay, but by using inner HTML, the tags will be considered as tags only. Okay, you see, tags are considered tags only, and accordingly it has been responding. Okay, so this is the advantage of using inner HTML and inner text. Okay,
Okay, sir.
did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yeah. Okay, then now what we will do is that I'll tell a short assignment. Okay, what I want to tell you is that I'll have a button. Okay, and for this button I'm having an idea of 1. Okay, and for this button there's some text inside it, and you see that button. Okay, whenever I click on this button, I need to get something inside body. Okay, something needs to be appended under the click me button, under the click me, and not above the click me. Okay, so what will I do is that firstly, see the problem statement, you listen first, and then we will try to solve that. I'll only solve that, and I'll give some other assignment based on the same thing. So firstly, upon clicking on this button, upon clicking on this, what will happen is that there needs to be, you have to generate a card like this. Okay, card like this, and inside this card you will have a message. Okay, a message. Okay, you can use a paragraph or you can use a bold for this, and this message after 5 seconds need to be disappear. So just after generating this particular card, that means this particular card immediately contains this thing, right? Card means this message as well as this one. Okay, with some background color, and this card, inside this card, whatever the message is there, that needs to be disappear after how much time? After 5 seconds. So just after clicking, what will happen? This card needs to be shown up, and in that card we need to have a message, and after showing up this card, immediately after 5 seconds, this message, whatever is there, that has to be disappear. Did you understand the statement?
Understood.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now I'll try to do that. You see, upon clicking on this, firstly I am going to append things onto body, right? So let body is a variable. I want to get the body. So to get the body, I told you document.body. So it is going to return what? The entire body of the HTML. Now within this HTML element, I'm going to append a new child, which is div. So firstly, before appending, I want to create that element, right? I'll name that as card. Okay, and I'll create that by using document.createElement. Okay, and with a tag name of div. Okay, and for this card, I'm going to have some style like this, style.background color, background
Color.
of something blue. Okay, and then I'll be going to create another bold. Okay, so bold, which is equal to document dot, again create element. Okay, and the element name is what? Bold. Okay, and for this bold, I'm going to have a color of white. Its color should be white. And now I want to append. I'm going to append this bold inside this card. Okay, and for this card also, I'm going to have an height and width, style.height of, let us say, 100 pixels, and card dot style.width, how much? Again, something like 100 pixels. Okay, and now for this bold, I would like to also have some inner text, right? So bold dot inner text is equal to time bold, and I'll be disappearing. So this one needs to disappear. Okay, now what I am trying to do is that these three lines creates a bold element, right? These three lines creates a bold element in the random access memory only. Okay, so bold is the element and that is got created with the tag name of B, and that has a style of color of white, and inner text of that bold is going to this one. So these three elements basically creates an element something like this, bold with a style of color of what, white. Okay, and inside this what will have this all text, right? Let me paste that here. And you see this element got created inside RAM and we did not paste it in the document. Okay, and now this particular three lines, this particular 4 lines will create what? It will create a division element like this, right? A division element with a style of what? Background color blue. Okay, and then height of 100 pixels. Yes or no?
Yes,
Width
sir.
of again 100 pixels, something like this. Now inside this div, do we have anything? No inner text is there, so empty. Now I want to append this bold inside this div element. How can I append? Simply I can use this one, like I can use card dot inner
Append.
sorry, not inner HTML was not working. You see there was an object got pasted, so append child we need to use append child. And what element do I need to append? I want to append the bold element inside card. Now where should this card be appended? Inside body.
Inside body.
So how can I append? Body dot
Append child.
Append child.
And the card.
Card.
Okay, so this entire code I would like to write inside a function call me, and have all this code over here. Okay, something like this. And when should this function need to be called?
On click, sir.
When should this, on click of which one? On click of this element, which is this the button which is having an ID of 1. So how can I select that? So I don't want to attach the event within the HTML, but I want to attach within the JavaScript. So how can I attach? So button is equal to document dot it, or I use query selector, document dot query selector, and what is a query? #1. Okay, I'll erase this. So I selected the button and I'll have to attach the event for this. So there are 2 ways to attach. One is button dot on click I can do, and I can assign the function like this. And the another way is I can do by using button dot add event listener. And it is going to take the event first, which is click event, and then it is going to take the function next. So I'll be using this one and not this one. Okay, and which function needs to execute it? Call me needs to execute it. So this is the function, and inside this, what I want to execute, I want to execute call me. Okay, so inside this function, I'm going to just execute a function called call me. Yes or no? Did you understand or not?
Yes, sir. Understand, sir.
Yeah. So this is the second parameter, which is a callback function, and inside this, I'm just, since call me is the function which is a global variable. Yeah, global variable. I'm just making a call to that function. Okay, and whenever you click on this particular button, what will happen? Immediately this function gets executed. And in this particular function, how many instructions are there?
Sir, there is only one call me.
One instruction, yeah, which is call me, and it is going to call what? This entire function. Okay, now till now what will happen? Let us see. So whenever I click on this, and what happened? We got something, and which is showing up a text, bold text. Of course, what we expected is this one only, right? But is the message is disappearing? Is the message is disappearing?
No, sir. We have not written.
No, right?
Sir.
Yeah.
We have to
disappear
write
timeout.
Yeah, we have to disappear that element. So how can I disappear? Simply, I'll capture the E. I'll capture the not E. But inside this only, whenever this function executes, inside here only, I'll have to disappear this. So how can I set timeout? And what I have to do, I need to pass a function like this here. And in this function, whom I want to disappear? The bold one. Okay. So bold dot
style dot.
Yes.
Display equal to none.
After how many
After
seconds?
comma, there will be time.
3 seconds.
5,000.
Okay. So like this. So what will happen whenever you make a click? Whenever you make a click, this function will be executed. As in this function, we are having a single function call, and this entire function gets executed. And this function will create elements and paste on the document. And after pasting, what will happen? This particular short function will be registered for about 5,000 seconds. And after 5,000 milliseconds, what will happen? This function gets executed. And this function is actually going to delete the bold element. So let me save that. And when I click on this, you see after 5 seconds, this will be disappeared.
Yes.
Yeah, you see, right? So now here the mistake that you should not do is that never call like this. Okay, so like instead of this, you can make a mistake like this. Call me. So if you call here itself, what will happen is that this is the function call. That means indirectly whatever this function returns, actually this function is returning nothing, undefined. So whatever this function returns, that will be the value for the second parameter of this function. So don't try to do this over here. Remember this one. It is the most important. Whenever you are making a call in the second argument, this means whatever this function, after executing this function, whatever that function returns back, that returned element will be going to be this place, will be going to take this place. Okay, so that's why I've written an anonymous function. Okay, and in this function I'm going to execute that.
Sir,
Okay,
in add event listener, it is necessary to pass a function as a second argument, sir. So
yes, of course. Then
how can we sir call that function only, sir? It's simple logic.
yeah, exactly. So we need to pass the function only. We need to pass the second argument as a function only, and not something called undefined or something. Because when you are making a call in place of this function, what will happen? When you are making a call means after executing that function, whatever that function returns, that will be, being as a second parameter. Okay, yes. Or else if you want to do really complex, you can have another function. Okay, you can have another function, function test func, something like this. Okay, and inside this, it is just going to return what? Another variable called call me. And is there a variable call me inside this test function? Of course not, right? So there is no variable called call me in this particular test function. So what will it do? It will check for its lexical environment, and in the global case, of course, there is a function called call me, and this call me is going to be returned. Now, in place of this, now I can make an execution of test func, because whatever this function, see, this is a call for the test function, this function. So whatever this function is returning, which is the function, again, it is returning a big function, and that function will be the parameter or the argument in the second place. So let me save that, and you see the same thing. It will disappear after some time. You understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So simply, if you feel complex, better you make an anonymous function and you call whatever you want to call inside this, like this. No need to have this. Simply the same thing. Let me make the timer to be 1000 milliseconds, and yeah, it will disappear after 1 second. Okay, so I'll paste this code as well in the chat box if you want for your usage. And now, Naveen or Sai, whoever it is, you have the 5th assignment link, right? 5th assignment, the last assignment.
The project or assignment, sir?
Yeah, project, sorry. You have the project, right? Last project. Yeah, we will get some cards and everything. Yeah, and now you guys start working on that project. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Anything.
I told you study about that, sir.
Yeah. So now you can start because we are done with everything. Okay. Now you can clearly start that. So, but as of now, that project is accessible only for you, right? So you try to share that video link on the WhatsApp group so that everyone can start working on that project.
Okay, sir. Sir, there is not video recording. I think, sir, that is just a image, sir.
So you don't have any video recording for that?
No, sir.
Then how they were showing you? I think there is a video, I guess. There is a YouTube video or something.
Let me share my screen, sir, and I will show you.
Yeah, actually, that guy will be teaching you what is this project is about. I've seen that project as well. Yeah, you share your screen and show me.
Is my screen is visible, sir?
Yes, yes.